Shenanigans. Truth, lies, 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 shenanigans.
Oh yeah! Shenanigans. Truth, lies, 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 shenanigans. Oh yeah! Shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. lies, shenanigans. Lies, shenanigans. Truth, 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 lies, shenanigans.
Oh yeah.
Good evening, my patient voters out there. This is Truth, Lies, Shenanigans, the live show for Sunday, November 4th, 2020. We're here. It happened. Last night was he finally came and we're done. My name is Neo. I'll be your guide through tonight's Truth, Lies, Shenanigans surrounding this election. My co-host for tonight's show in the opposite corner, we have our journalist and educator, Miss Liz E.
What's up, everyone? Happy Hump Day Wednesday, not Sunday Fun Day, Wednesday. Just so happy to see all you faces. We are onward and upward to new things. As you can see on my forehead, I voted and it mattered.
And below me, our perspective from the north, Mr. Rob B.
Happy Hump Day, everyone. Happy Counting Day. Much ado about counting.
Did I say Sunday?
You did.
Yeah.
You did, son.
Sunday, November 4th. Wednesday, November 4th. Hey, it's COVID days. You get your days mixed up. So.
It's definitely a Blur's Day.
Blur's Day. I love it. Love it. All right. So for today's show, it's our post-election show talking first impressions, the latest situation, Trump's attempts to steal the election back, and we'll talk Arizona and the McCain effect. Also, Rob B discusses the extremes between some congressional candidates, and Lizzie tells us you better know exactly who you're voting for, i.e. Kanye West. Remember, we are live just about everywhere. Our show streams live on YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, and Twitter at TLS Live Show, and you can also watch us at TruthLiesShenanigans.com. Make sure you invite your friends to watch along because we want to get you all involved in the show. Share your comments and questions in our live feeds, and we'll have Gianni. Hey, Gianni.
She girl.
Gianni will be sharing all of your comments and questions to the group. All right, and reminder, you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Amazon Music. Just search or ask Google, Alexa, or Siri to simply play Truth, Lies, Shenanigans podcast. Okay, guys, we're going to start off with a quick fire question. Just need your initial reactions to this one. As most of us have had our eyes glued to the TV last night, praying not to see a repeat of 2016.
I don't pray.
I want to ask you guys, what were your honest thoughts as you went to bed or woke up this morning and saw Trump leading or winning in all of the battleground states? Lizzie?
That's not what I saw when I went to bed. When I went to bed, Biden was up, I think it was 224, 213. So I went to bed like, okay, I went to bed about 3:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to give this to Coco Chanel, to everyone in the universe, all of my designer friends. But yeah.
When I saw everything being so tight, I just kept thinking of one of my favorite Will Ferrell movies with Blades of Glory and Chaz Michaels. It's mind-boggling, isn't it? Yeah, mind-boggling. You know, when things are so crazy, it gets your thoughts all trapped like in a bottle. It was just, that's how I felt. And that's how I still feel, that it's still so close and undetermined.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I was blown, pissed, and I'm going to say I was frankly scared, if I'm being honest, because, you know, I was telling Rob pre-show, I was like, I actually woke up early this morning wondering what in the hell are we going to do? Because I got to admit, I was a little scared. I was like, I can't do another 4 years of this. Just can't do it.
So let me ask the panel this. How did you spend election night? Like, what did you do election night? Did you eat something special? Did you decide to maybe take a little sip of something, pop a bottle here and there? Did you watch a scary movie? Did you watch a comedian? Like, what did you do last night?
Darby?
Pretty much the same thing I do every night. It's the only thing that we are definitely feeling some anxiety internationally over whether or not the American people can get it right this time around. But other than that, I mean, it's completely out of my control, out of my hands. So I just really went about my day-to-day business. And this morning was breathing a little bit easier when I saw that the numbers were favoring Biden. But the fact that it's still such a close race blows my mind with such a divisive figurehead running.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I was up late, so I was up till about 12:30, almost 1. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to bed. And then that's all I did. I just sat there watching it. On TikTok, I was scrolling through some TikToks while I was watching the BS going on. So.
I actually had a good day yesterday. I mean, for those of you who follow me on social media, I finally got my laptop back yesterday. So props to Apple for sending me a completely new device. So I consider that to be a good omen. A good omen. I'm like, okay, we're starting the day off right. Let's go. Let's keep this good vibe, this good energy going. I cooked a feast. So my Bama bestie, Mike Winter, came over. I cooked some maple apple salmon, some garlic mashed potatoes, and some Brussels sprouts with duck confit. We had tons of drinks. We danced. We watched everything on CNN. And so for me, there was a little bit of anxiety, but I think it was just because people were not really paying attention to. They were looking at the states that we knew Trump was going to get. Kentucky, I think, was the first state that was called for Trump. People were like, oh my God, here we go. I'm like, people in Kentucky were never going to vote for Biden. Like that's not a thing. That was never on the blue state side. And so there were times where we were like, okay, maybe not. But I had a good day yesterday.
Yeah.
A good day.
Yeah.
And it looked like it paid off. Looked like it paid off.
Looks like. We'll see. We'll see. All right. So we're giving you a little taste, but let me tell you, our viewers, what Truth, Lies, and Shenanigans, our viewers and listeners, by the way, what Truth, Lies, and Shenanigans is all about. We will be sharing our truths and opinions with you, calling out the lies and pointing out the shenanigans going on. But most importantly on this show, we try to have fun with shenanigans of our own. But we do have one rule for the show, and that's no cussing. But we're going to have to figure out what the punishment is for the no cussing. So if you cuss, it's going to count for whatever the punishment is we decide on later. Yes.
Who's going to count it?
I'll count it.
We'll go to tape.
We'll go to the tape. Yep. We got plenty of tape too. All right, guys, it's time for our hot topics. Let's get right on into our hot topics.
Truth, lies, shenanigans.
What are we talking about? What are we going to talk about today?
So the way this works, one of our hosts will start us off. They'll tell us if their topic is a truth, lie, shenanigans, and they'll tell you what's going on in the world. Then we'll talk about it until time is up. And our friend Gingy will drop in and let us know the time is up. And we'll stop and go to our live audience questions and comments online where we'll bring Gianni in. You still there, Gianni?
Hey
Bring Gianni in
guys.
and she'll share your comments and questions, what's going on, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more. So make sure you're talking to it. Once we're done, we're going to the next host and their topic. So, with the first topic, I'm going to take on the hottest of topics, this presidential election. Like I said, we've already started talking about it, but let's talk about this election. As of showtime, Biden only needs Arizona and Nevada to turn his way. And it looks like Arizona has been called by most or a few of the networks, meaning he really only needs Nevada at this point. But Pennsylvania and Georgia are still up for grabs. As we said earlier, last night was really worrisome as Trump had already taken Ohio, Florida, which were major battleground states. So, how are we feeling, guys? Are we pretty confident that Trump is out? Agent Orange is done? Lizzie?
I mean, I think you have to speak it into existence. So yes, get out, Bama, get out. You about to lose your job. You about to lose your job. Whoop, whoop. We gotta speak it. We gotta put it in the.
That's right. He's gone. Get him out of there.
Now, obviously, there's going to be a lot of shenanigans after the fact once, Joe Biden is declared the winner, and we'll just deal with that as it comes. But I think it really says something that a lot of these states that turned, a lot of these states, that would typically vote Republican, decided, listen, we are going to get our people out there to vote. We are going to give them a voice and we're going to let them speak. And so I appreciate that. Like, yes, I know a lot of people are disappointed that the numbers are very close. But I think it says a lot that we got some states that we really didn't expect to get, when this thing started.
Yeah, that's true. Robbie, how are you feeling?
It's yeah, it's to me again. I just keep going back to the fact that this thing hasn't been decided already by the American people. Just to have this level of dysfunction for 4 years, this level of just divisive tactics, and unfortunately, it seems to have really worked at galvanizing the people because he's still holding about half of the vote, which is just terrifying. But it definitely looks like it's going to be a blue Thursday, maybe a blue Wednesday if the counting gets in. But yeah, I mean, it's encouraging to see that the winds of change appear to be blowing in.
I mean, you made a really good point about how many votes he got. Good Lord. I mean, almost 70 million votes for Trump? What in the hell?
However, oh my gosh, I can't remember. There was an article that I read earlier today that mentioned that Joe Biden, out of any president running in an election for the United States, has gotten the most votes ever.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that is
and I think it's something that we also need to take into account and mention. There are about 370 million people who live in the United States. Less than half of those people, less than half of the 370 million are voters. So the majority of people living here are not voting. So that's something we need to also take into account and correct as we move forward over the next 4 years.
Yeah.
Getting people to vote and then not talking about, so now everyone's kind of trying to figure out, once again, like they do every 4 years, they're trying to figure out what is the Electoral College. If we want to change the Electoral College, it needs to start today, tomorrow. Not in 2022. It needs to start 2024. It needs to start now. If that's something that we want to make an initiative, that we want to change as a part of our government, as a part of our electoral process, then we need to get on it now.
I want to bring Johnny in real quick because I see some funny comments online. Johnny, what comments you got going on?
Hey guys. So yes, so far we have Jacqueline Robinson, she said that's what Bernie Sanders pointed out. Voting should be compulsory. We also have Ayanna Brown. She said he got the most votes because of Hellboy, not because he's better than Obama.
That's true. That's true. That's 100% true.
Mike Winter says racism is strong. Nobody wants to be on the bottom rung. That's what this is about.
Yeah. Totally agree with all those. Totally agree. Thank you, Gianni. I mean,
So,
go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, we talked about on Sunday's show a little bit about a lot of states, a lot of cities boarding up buildings in anticipation of the election, in anticipation of social or civil unrest, maybe some violence, maybe some riots. So far, it's been kind of quiet around the country. However, in Washington, D.C. overnight, unfortunately, there were 3 Proud Boys, if you will, that were stabbed in the city. And allegedly, they were stabbed by members of Black Lives Matter. And ironically, a part of one of the people that was injured in that particular incident was a Black woman who was arrested over the summer for defacing the Black Lives Matter mural down in Washington, D.C. So that seems to be the only incident so far. Hopefully nothing else happens. Like, I want everyone, regardless of, whether, Joe is officially announced president of the new POTUS, or if something, some bad miracle happens, which will make me believe even less in the Bible, and, Trump wins the election. Regardless of what happens, I think we need to, keep calm heads. Don't go out and be violent. Don't go out and, destroy property. There are other ways to get your point across. This is still our country. These are still our states. These are still our cities. And we need to set a better example and be that change, just in a personal and effective way, not in a destructive way.
Yeah. Yeah, totally agree with all that. Now, let's get into Trump and his attempts to steal the election. He's come up with multiple scenarios over the months about exactly how he would do it. Basically, contest the mail-in ballots and create uncertainty, and then Supreme Court, or he also suggests this.
And all I'm asking is people go out to vote, and stop with this nonsense, because we're going to be counting ballots for the next 2 years. And I don't want to end up in the Supreme Court, and I don't want to go back to Congress either. Even though we have an advantage if we go back to Congress. Does everyone understand that? I think it's 26 to 22 or something, because it's counted 1 vote per state.
So just to explain that real quick, there's this thing called a contingent election. So, for example, if he were to hold up the election long enough, or maybe dispute the votes through like December 15th, I think is when the electors vote, are supposed to vote. What can happen is it can then go to Congress if a decision isn't made. And if it goes to Congress, what happens is they get 1 vote per state, right? And so Congress votes 1 vote per state. And according to his calculations, he believes if it goes to Congress, he would win 26 to 22. Lizzie?
Just for the record, for all of you Washingtonians out there, pay attention to that. 1 vote per state. DC is not a state. So that means we would
Your
not
votes
get a
don't
vote
count?
in that scenario. So again, pay attention to what you are voting for. DC statehood, people. We need statehood in the District of Columbia.
It also eliminates the big cities in red states. So all those votes, like for example, right now Georgia's contested because of the Atlanta votes. They're still coming in, and then Michigan, of course, was contested for a while until all the Detroit, the big city votes came in. So that 1 vote per state just eliminates all of those votes. So it potentially could have, Michigan and Minnesota and the rest of them could have gone for Trump if we go to 1 vote per state if we do go to Congress. So, I mean, he's been trying to steal this election for months now. That's his whole plan. So right now, when he's talking about going to court, that's what he's talking about. Robbie,
Mhm.
But it
what are
also,
your thoughts?
go ahead, Rob. Go ahead, Rob.
Well, that's it. I mean, with the Supreme Court appointees that they've had over the administration, he's he's outlined it. He's absolutely outlined it. He's been calling it a fraudulent election already for weeks. So now the fact that he's not leading it, we're definitely going to see some kind of appeal process. He's going to try to tie this up legally as much as possible, and unfortunately, with the SCOTUS appointees that they've gotten throughout the administration, they might be able to actually get some traction with it. And it's just so scary that it's been completely orchestrated and transparent. It's been in everyone's face, and the script has just kind of played along.
It's going to be hard for Trump to fight these votes.
It's just further proof of, the type of demon seed that America elected in 2016.
Demon
We have
seed.
elections. We have elections general elections for president every 4 years in this country. So there's always two people on the ballot. There's a winner and a loser. Never before have we seen a loser act like this. Never have we seen a loser try to challenge the democratic process because he's pissed that it's not going his way. Like, you go into this game knowing the rules of the game, knowing how it's played, and knowing what the potential outcome could be. In 2016, he wasn't calling for all of this ruckus. He wasn't, making this kerfuffle because he won in the end.
Kerfuffle. That's the new one.
So when things are going in his favor, he's fine. But now that he can't get his way, it's like, oh, it's rigged. I'm going to, file a lawsuit. They should stop counting the ballots. When have we ever stopped counting ballots?
Right. That's
Remember-
absolutely ridiculous.
3+ million people in this country. All of those ballots are not going to be counted in 12 hours.
Now to clarify,
So why?
he did say stop voting. In his speech, he specifically said he'd like to stop the voting, but
He also
the
said
way he said it was to insinuate stop counting.
But he also, again, he's not very well educated, even though he went to an Ivy League school. He also tweeted yesterday something about the polls, the election polls, but spelled it POLES.
P-O-L-E-S.
So, I mean, come on. Yeah, he declared that he won last night.
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, matter of fact, he's going to try to make a play at going. He's still going to try to make a play at going to court over Michigan and Pennsylvania. But for the Supreme Court to get involved, one of them has to be like determinative. Like, for example, it comes down to Pennsylvania, and so now the Supreme Court has to kind of make a decision. But it doesn't look like that's going to be the case because right now, like I said, all he really needs is Nevada. But it looks like he might take Pennsylvania and Georgia, actually.
Well, I mean, like you said, he's challenging Michigan now. He's filed suit to challenge Michigan. There was something that came across the wire maybe an hour ago that they were challenging the votes in Arizona, claiming
Yeah,
that people
I read
were
that.
voting with Sharpies. And
Yeah.
so those votes shouldn't count. Like, he's just pulling stuff out of his behind right now.
Yeah, the Attorney
done.
General, I heard her say that, just laughed that off. Yeah,
It's ridiculous. This is how you expect a 10-year-old to act.
right.
when
That's
they
very
can't
true.
have
Very true.
not a 70+-year-old president, leader of the free world.
Any last thoughts before I go to the audience, Robbie?
No, let's hear from the audience.
Okay, cool. Gianni, what's going on online?
Hey guys. Okay, so people are saying that he always says the evil part out loud. That's what Jacqueline Robinson said.
It's true. He does.
Marjorie said, I had faith that it isn't going that far. 45 is losing GOP. No one wants to go down with this crazy train.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point, Marjorie. That's a really good point.
Yes.
Anything else?
Ayana also says, Black folks go from picking cotton to picking presidents. Black votes are carrying this election. Let's go.
Let's go.
Actually, yeah, and if you look at Atlanta, particularly, which is predominantly black, they're
Yeah.
actually where the last few votes are left to be counted, and they've been narrowing the gap for Georgia, which they may actually Atlanta may actually bring Georgia in. So,
I
all
mean,
right,
I'm not sure if Ernest Cooper is watching, but if you're watching, get your folks in Atlanta together. Gianni, get out there, get them together. You know, cast those
I'm
ballots.
trying. I'm trying.
all right. All right. So let's talk briefly about before we close out the election. I wanted to talk briefly about this Arizona shift. This shift where Arizona is turned blue, where it's been predominantly red for a long, long time. Now, it's no secret that Trump hated Senator John McCain from Arizona, even bad mouthing him posthumously after he was dead. Now, Arizona had been a stronghold for, like I said, forever, but you know, this has become now vital to Biden's potential win. So my question to you guys, right, is this revenge from the grave for John McCain? Is John McCain coming from the grave and getting his revenge on Trump? But before we do, real quick, I want to show. Let me share with the viewers some of the crap that Trump has actually said about John McCain, and I want to let everyone know he died. What, 2 years ago? Was it 2 years ago? 3 years ago, from a brain tumor. And after he died from a brain tumor, he was still about bad mouthing.
So I have to be honest, I've never liked him much. Hasn't been for me.
And this is after he was saying this after he died.
Probably never will. But there are certain reasons for it, and I'll tell you. And I do this to save a little time with the press later on. John McCain received a fake and phony dossier. Do you hear about the dossier? It was paid for by crooked Hillary Clinton, right? And John McCain got it. He got it. And what did he do? Didn't call me. He turned it over to the FBI, hoping to put me in jeopardy. When he finally had the chance to do it, he voted against repeal and replace. He voted against it.
Obamacare.
In the morning, remember, thumbs down.
Yep, he voted
I
against
endorsed
Obamacare.
him at his request, and I gave him the kind of funeral that he wanted, which as president, I had to approve.
That's a lie.
That is a lie.
I didn't get thank you. That's okay.
He didn't get a thank you from John McCain, and he's
But I
dead.
wasn't a fan
He's
of
dead.
John McCain. Now what we could say is, now we're all set. I don't think I have to answer that question, but the press keeps, what do you think of McCain? What do you think?
Yeah. Anyway,
Not
so
my-
that gives you an idea of just how horrible a guy he was. So is this John McCain getting his revenge, you guys?
Again, another reason for me to dislike Donald J. Trump is, I'm really not a fan of John McCain.
Really?
No, I'm not a fan of John McCain. I mean, John McCain was against, having Martin Luther King's birthday be a holiday in
I remember
Arizona
that.
for many years. Now he came, full circle, and he eventually apologized for that. But it's taken a while for John McCain to catch up to the progressive movement. But I, as a daughter of, a veteran, a World War II veteran, after John McCain, even before he died, but especially after he died, all of these knocks against his character, against his service, were highly offensive to me. So then I had to get out there and start defending John McCain, and that
Who you didn't
pissed
like.
me off. Who I didn't like as a person. And I certainly don't like his daughter. Megan, if you're watching, no, girl, I don't like you. But I think it's totally disrespectful for a president to give that type of speech.
It is.
No one really cares about you liking him, you never being a fan of his or whatever. The things that he has said about John McCain and his service are atrocious, especially from someone, again, who was a draft dodger. Okay,
Yep.
who draft dodged 4 different times. My father served, my father's brothers served. I have other family members that have served who are still in Iraq. But yet this MFer, y'all not gonna catch me cursing, this can sit up there on his pedestal and knock a celebrated POW veteran? How dare you? But remember, he did the same thing with John Lewis. When asked about how he feels about John Lewis after John Lewis died, the first thing he said was, well, he didn't come to my inauguration. So everything is personal for Trump. It's not country first.
Right. It's not about the country. It's about him.
It's me, and that's we cannot have that. We cannot have that. So yes, I think this is John McCain reaching up for the grave and snatching that orange wig off his head. 100%.
Robbie, what do you think?
It's I've said it many times before. Trump lacks decorum in every way, shape, or form. That's if you don't have anything nice to say personally, at least from a professional and political standpoint, there was enough that he could have said to honor and respect him. Do I think that it's from beyond the grave? Yeah, don't really buy into that. But karma, you reap what you sow. If you put that bad energy out there, you put that bad mojo out there, it's going to come back to you in some way, shape, or form. Put the good stuff out there, and that will also come back to you in some way, shape, or form. And I'm hoping that tonight, tomorrow, that will be Trump's comeuppance. It'll come up with a legitimate loss that he can't wipe away.
I agree with you as far as like it's not necessarily him from the grave, but with that being said, I mean, I agree with you on karma because I'm certain that those people in Arizona were pissed off with the way he treated McCain because they loved McCain in Arizona, absolutely loved McCain in Arizona. And so I think even if it's not him coming back from the grave, it's his legacy that's biting Trump in the ass.
But also, I think a lot of people in Arizona, so Trump was the one who started up this conversation about John McCain being a rhino, which means Republican in name only. And that I think that offended a lot of people in Arizona as well, especially if you consider Donald Trump is not a real Republican. Donald Trump has, vacillated back and forth between the parties. He was a registered Democrat at one point. He has given money to the Democratic campaign. So if there's anyone who is the president of the Rhino Association in this country, it's Donald J. Trump. But like you said, people in Arizona, John McCain was their hero. And for you to belittle him and talk, ill about him, that was never going to go over. And then you had Cindy McCain, John McCain's widow. She came out and endorsed Biden. Yep. Megan didn't really, and that's why we don't like you, girl. But your mama did. Not really. Megan talks a lot of BS.
She does.
Don't get me started. But Cindy came out and endorsed Biden and again reminded people of how awful this sitting president was towards her husband. Even in his dying, his final moments, he couldn't show compassion. And so, Arizona's like, deuces.
Yeah. I mean, I hope Arizona continues to go this route so that we can count on it for future elections.
I don't know about that.
but it'd be because I don't know. But anyway, I'm just glad. I'm glad Arizona did the right thing, and I'm glad that it's looking right because and I'm pretty. I tend to be pretty bipartisan, although I'm a registered Democrat. I try to be as bipartisan as possible, but Trump made that impossible. I could not even consider a Republican candidate because of Trump. And it really bothered me. So I'm glad that the potential is over.
Look at them counting those ballots. Get it, y'all.
That's right. They're working hard. And see, you got the news in there. I mean, Trump's not going to be able to say anything. I think, and I'm pretty sure that CNN and the rest of them are up in there on purpose, making it very clear so that Trump can't say nothing.
But also, it's a part of the transparency of this democracy. Like, this isn't anything new, and that's why
it takes days to certify election. Days. It's just the news organizations tend to call them They call because they look at the number of votes and the number of outstanding votes and things like that. But you can't certify an election for days. Normal. All right, Gianni. Let's see what we got happening online. What kind of comments and questions do we have? Any comments or questions?
Yes. Kevin Thaxton said that those folks are in a cult.
Yes.
I agree. Jose says, I'm sorry, but has he ever been tested for insanity? Speaking about Trump.
Yeah, I'm sure. I know he has a disorder of narcissism. Narcissism is definitely a disorder he's been diagnosed with.
Yeah.
He's a little lying problem. He's a little lying problem. Not disorder.
A huge lying problem. Jacqueline Robinson said, as an added bonus, McCain requested that President Obama eulogize him.
Oh yeah, that was great. I forgot about that. that was great. I loved that McCain did that. I know Lizzie doesn't like McCain, but I actually liked McCain.
Yeah.
I know now I didn't like some of his policies, but I think he was catering to his base at the time to some of the things. But I think he changed over time too.
No, and I agree. I do think he changed over, and I do appreciate people in their maturation process.
Yeah.
But for the majority of my life, before he decided to get on the good foot, John McCain was not, a friend of ours, if you will.
He wasn't.
But even if he hadn't matured or changed some of his viewpoints on certain things, I would never speak ill about him in death the way Donald J. Trump did. I would never do that, especially
always
as a
have that
leader.
respect.
Yeah, I would never do that.
Anything else, Johnny?
That's exactly it, Liz.
Oh, go ahead,
as a leader, you should never speak in that fashion, especially not when it's a public address. If that's how you feel within the confines of your circle, then express that view. But when you are speaking publicly and you are a figurehead, you have to lead. And that's not his forte.
And these were personal feelings. It wasn't as if John McCain was like a warlord or something in this country.
Mm-hmm.
These were personal feelings, and you have to leave that to the side.
Yeah.
And he doesn't understand that as a leader.
Yeah, or he didn't care. All right, Johnny. One last comment. What we got?
Yeah. Marjorie said, Trump is an ass. It's a shame that we are even talking about him. He's such a loser.
Okay.
Marjorie.
Yep. All right. All right. Thanks, Gianni. All right. Let's see. Let's move on to the next hot topic. Let's go with Rob B. Rob B, is this a truth, lie, or shenanigans? I know we got some more election conversation here.
Yeah. Well, this is truth. So basically some results coming in from different parts of the country for different parties. And it really, it caught my eye because it really brought to light some of the, how massive the culture clash is between the Democrats and the Republicans at this point. So what do you got queued up for me first here, Neo? All right, so Sarah McBride became the first openly transgender U.S. senator. She's a Democratic representative in Delaware, and she has been a staunch advocate for years in the LGBT and trans community. She's established several institutions, or she's worked with a lot of organizations. Equity Delaware is one of them. Her deceased husband, Andrew Cray, was also an advocate for trans rights, and they were married in 2014, and 4 days later, unfortunately, her husband died of cancer. But the McBride family has been very, very involved in protecting Delawareans from discrimination on the basis of gender identity and expression and employment, housing, insurance, public accommodations. And due to her hard work and diligence, she has claimed a Senate seat. So absolute kudos to Sarah McBride. And
in the midterms, there was wasn't there another House representative who was the first openly transgender House representative? I think she was in Virginia. I'll look that up while you're talking. Yeah, I'll look that up while you're talking. But go ahead.
Yeah, if you could queue up the other one for me.
Oh yeah.
And, right.
Yeah, because we
So
talked about this young lady.
this is a great picture. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's a Republican representative, was elected to the House of Representatives, and this is this is a right wing job. Some of the news outlets are reporting this as QAnon scoring its first national political victory because Marjorie Taylor does adhere to some of the QAnon ideology. She has made many racist statements. There's a whole slew of videos out there where she talks about the Islamic invasion into government offices, how Black and Hispanic men are held back by gangs and drug deals. She's made anti Semitic comments, even saying ridiculous things like racism doesn't exist in America. So, I mean, if this doesn't highlight the culture divide between Republican and Democratic supporters, I really don't know what would. So, I guess the first question I have for my co host is: does the difference between these two candidates accurately represent the culture divide between Republican and Democratic supporters, race issues aside?
I'll start. I'd say absolutely, actually. It's pretty well. I mean, there are moderates on both sides, obviously. Um, but if we're talking spectrum, that is the spectrum. You know, if we're talking transgender, gay rights, um, democratic socialism, that's one side of the spectrum, and then the other spectrum is racism, gun rights, uh, conspiracy theories. I mean, there are conspiracy theories on both sides, though. But everybody has those on either side. But yeah, I mean, I think it is the divide. I think that is the spectrum. That's opposite ends of the spectrum. Um, but one is, I would say, one is a little more positive than the other. Lizzie.
Given. That's a given.
I think yeah, it speaks to the divide, but I also think it highlights the level of opportunity that you have in this country. Um,
Hmm.
Everyone has the opportunity to have a voice.
Yeah.
You have someone who is transgender on this side, and you have someone who is from QAnon, who is very conservative, right wing, um, not progressive, and is basically of the mindset that white is the only way, but they still have a voice in this country. They can still assume office in this country. So I think that works to the disadvantage of the conservatives and the white, because you have a lot of people on the conservative side saying that, we are being, fleshed out. We no longer have a voice. We no longer have any say in this new America. And it's like, no, here you are. This is a perfect example
Yep.
that you still have a following. You still have an opportunity to seek office, to be elected to office, whether it's right or wrong. And so, in a weird way, even though obviously I am against, this particular candidate and their views and their ideologies, in a weird way, it elevates or showcases the beauty of America and the fact that everyone has a voice. Not everyone may agree with your voice, but everyone has that opportunity to come forward and say, listen, my voice needs to be heard. This is my ideology. These are my beliefs. I do have people who follow me, and we need to be heard and represented.
Yep.
Now, am I going to follow that MFer? Absolutely not.
MFer.
But that's America. Like, in other countries, there wouldn't even be the opportunity to have so many candidates from
That's true.
different backgrounds,
Mhm.
different cultures. And so I think that's something that needs to be celebrated here. Yeah, we do need to put a rein, kind of a tight rein on some of the messages that they put out. Especially if they are advocating for violence. But it speaks to how this country can and will give you the opportunity if you step up.
Yep. What do you think, Robbie? Oh, I just want to say real quick. So, I said that there was a transgender House representative. It was actually Virginia House of Delegates, Danica Rome. So in Virginia, but Virginia State House Delegate. All right, go ahead, Harvey.
Yeah, and really just at a quick glance, Liz, because you made an interesting comment about how, only in America it's something that should be celebrated. There are a number of trans politicians that can be found internationally in several democratic processes. So I think it's wonderful that they're getting representation because they have absolutely suffered from underrepresentation. So it's a good thing.
But it's not only
to
in
see it
America, is
happening.
what you're saying.
No, and it's good to see it happening in America.
It is good.
Absolutely.
But Rob, that also speaks to, the wealth of information, because we don't hear about that here. We don't hear about transgender candidates or transgender people who are in office in other countries. Like, that's not a conversation that happens here at all. And so maybe this is the first step, to making that a part of a normal conversation. Like, whether you believe in who they are, what they represent, they are still here. They are still part of our citizenship here. They're still part of our community here. They pay taxes. They live here, and they need to be represented. And so, yeah, we don't hear about that at all here.
No.
Ever.
No. One quick question as we're wrapping down. Do you think that Republicans would cast their ballots for someone like Sarah McBride?
I think there are some Republicans that would, yes.
I mean, you remember, we still got those Republicans that are in the closet that are hiding.
It's true.
So they might cast a ballot, in secret. But do I think that they would be, in the spotlight, in front of the cameras? Do I think they would be in the House, arguing for bills that support transgender rights? No.
The problem is catering to their base. I mean, that's the biggest problem. There may actually be individuals that would do that, but as long as they have to cater to their base, the people that elected them, those people are not going to come out and openly support that. Anyway, so let's go to Gianni. See what's happening online, Gianni. I think you're muted. We can't hear you, Gianni.
Sorry, guys.
All right.
Okay, so I was saying that Mike Winters said in Delaware they have a weird mix of fiscally conservative rich folks and LGBTQ folks.
True.
That's
Jacqueline Robinson said, find people on both sides.
That's funny.
And then also, the comments are going by fast.
Take
your time. I'm watching Rick Santorum be an ass as he normally is on CNN.
Yeah, I can't watch him sometimes. Yeah.
And then we have okay. Sorry. Okay, I'm going back to what Jose said. She said, "It's so schoolyard bully. I'd like to meet up with Trump at the monkey bars."
Jose, rolling hard.
You got her back, Robbie?
I almost got her back.
All right. Thank you, Gianni.
No.
All right. Let's get into our final hot topic.
Truth,
The Z.
lies, shenanigans.
There's truth, lies, shenanigans.
What am I discussing? Am I discussing Kanye?
Yes. Yeah.
Woo! And I won't say, because, Neo takes such offense to my other name for Kanye, so I won't bring that out this evening. But Kanye West, remember, everyone, this is shenanigans, I guess. Kanye West, everyone, remember, he decided that he was going to run for president also. So he was looking to be on the ballot as a presidential candidate. He was denied in most states. I think he was on the ballot in maybe what?
I think because he was too late. Yeah.
10 states out of
Mhm.
50 too late, but also not only too late, but didn't care to try to make himself eligible.
Yeah.
Like, these states told him, this is your deadline. You have to get your paperwork in. And he did nothing. Instead, he decided, to take the Trump way and just go to Twitter and bitch and moan there. But, Twitter is not the government, people. Like, you still have to,
Ayana called it out for you.
you still have to follow the processes. Yeah. Thank you, Yana. Thank you, Yana girl. So Kanye was on the ballot in California, but not as president. Kanye appeared on the ballot in California as vice president. At the same time where he voted in Wyoming, again, where he wasn't on the ballot, he wrote his name in Wyoming. He legitimately was not supposed to be on the ballot in California, but another group put him on the ballot as a vice president in California, which he didn't like. He thought it was, very offensive, and against everything that he called for. The name of the group was the American Independent Party. But what do you guys think about this, Mr. Kanye? And for the record, Kanye, for the states that he was on the ballot, Kanye received 60,000 votes nationwide for
Really?
president of the United States.
I actually
60,000
didn't know
votes
that.
nationwide. Yeah.
I'll let you
Well,
start.
how do
Robbie.
you feel about that? No, Neil, how do you feel about that?
About
How you
Kanye?
got 60,000? Yeah. How do you
I'm
feel
so,
about that?
60,000. I'm shocked, actually. I mean, I figured he was going to get some votes. I mean, there's going to be people that are going to do there. I mean, that are going to vote for him. But 60,000 seems like a lot to me. I'm wondering where they came from. Maybe it's probably California or something like that, or one of the major cities, or who knows. But well, I guess he was on the ballot for what, California. I think he made it in.
He was not on the ballot in California
Oh, he was not
for president.
Okay.
No, he
For
wasn't.
vice president, though.
For vice president, yes.
But for president, he was on in I think North Carolina. Did he make it into North Carolina? There was a few, but yeah, 60,000 seems like a surprise. I am shocked, actually. I really thought that he would maybe 2,000. But
Rob, you surprised? 60,000?
No, I'm not surprised by anything that happens electorally. When it's crazy shenanigans that happen, it doesn't surprise me. And you know what? I can absolutely picture someone who may have eaten too many brownies going down and going, I just voted for
too many brownies.
Kanye.
I'm like, why do you even go vote at that point?
But also, too, there is the Kardashian factor. Like, he has a huge following based on whom he's married to. The voyeurism queen in this country, she don't do anything else but, highlight herself. But Kim Kardashian, there are a lot of Kardashian fans in this country. And so by extension, he has potential fans, people who follow him, who will vote for him because of his wife. She has been actually, kind of quiet throughout this entire process. But what we did learn, and this is what people need to pay attention to when you are voting for someone, Kanye acknowledged this is his first time voting ever. Why on earth would you vote for president for someone who this is their first time voting in a general election? So they have not been, like Ice Cube. Cube, we see you, because I don't even think Cube voted this time.
Call out Cube.
Before 2020. So why are we listening or even considering the ideology of these people who have not been a part of the political process in this country, making decisions for us in this country before now? Don't come asking me for my vote at the 11th hour and you ain't vote. I first voted when I was 18 years old, absentee ballot. I was in Finland. 1992, Bill Clinton. I was in Finland, absentee ballot, 18 years old. If I can do that in another country, you can do that living here with all of your privilege. And so don't come at me with this BS.
I found the votes for your boy. So apparently he got the most votes in Tennessee, 10,000 votes in Tennessee. Arkansas, he got 4,000, Colorado 6,000, Idaho 3,000. These are all like red states, though. He did take away 7,000 in Minnesota, though.
Colorado, hey, voted blue this time.
They did vote blue. Colorado and Minnesota ultimately voted blue. Everyone else, every other, Vermont, he got 1,200. He got 1,200 in Vermont.
I was very excited about Colorado because, I went to undergrad in Colorado, University of Colorado. I have a lot of beloved friends, family still there. So I was happy. And Colorado flipped a Senate seat. So yes, I was very happy about my Colorado folks. The mountains are good, people. That mountain air.
The mountain air is nice in Colorado, I gotta admit. I do enjoy some Colorado mountain air. But did you have any final thoughts, Robbie?
No, I think we've really covered this well. It's
all right, Gianni.
But yeah.
Go ahead. Robbie,
no, I was gonna say let's get some comments.
All right. Gianni, what we got?
Hey guys. Okay. So Jacqueline Robinson asked, were these write-in votes on behalf of the Kanye?
No, he was actually on the ballot.
Yeah.
He was actually on the ballot. So these were the few states that he actually got on the ballot. So Arkansas, Colorado, Idaho, Iowa, Kentucky, Louisiana.
These are probably the college dropouts.
Yeah.
That he talked about in
Minnesota,
that
Mississippi, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Utah, and Vermont.
College dropouts.
Yeah.
Mike Winter says Bama's. He was on the ballot in 12 states, as we know, and then he had 10K in Tennessee. Jacqueline Robinson also said, how appropriate given that we have a reality TV show starring squatting in the people's house. Ayana said, on behalf of Kim K, she's quiet because she's too busy getting smart for both of them with her virtual law degree.
Oh, she's getting a virtual law degree? I hadn't heard that one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's news to me.
Trying to be a lawyer. She's trying to be a lawyer.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Like her dad?
Yep.
Not like her dad. Her dad was legitimate. She is not like her dad.
Yeah.
Right,
and then Marjorie also said, are you kidding me? Tennessee voted for Kanye?
Yeah, and 10,000 people.
Right?
That's a lot.
Camille Burstman Sommer, if you're watching, what's up with your state, girl? What's up with your state?
All right, guys. Thank you, Gianni. All right, so that's it for Hot Topics.
Truth, lies, shenanigans.
Great Hot Topics, guys. Let's go ahead and jump right on into our game show. Close it out with some fun.
You about to lose your job. Get this there.
I'll play that in a little bit. All right. I'll make sure we play it before we go out. All right, for today's game, we've got 80s movie trivia. I had this on my page today, and we were doing 80s movies, so I wanted to bring it here, do some 80s movie trivia. All right. So, round robin style, I read off a trivia question and the multiple choice answer, and if you get it right, you get a point. You get it wrong, you get a buzz. And the person with the most points at the end of the game gets our final thought. All right, let me bring Gianni back in. Gianni, you got the score for us?
I got it.
All right, let me bring that back up.
Got my eye on you, Rob. Got my eye on you.
So, for example, here's our sample question. Which of these 80s films was directed by Steven Spielberg? Gremlins, Poltergeist, Always, or The Goonies? Any guesses real quick?
Goonies.
What's your guess, Lizzie?
Goonies.
Always.
Oh.
Oh, so this is going to be tough.
What is Always? I don't know what that is.
I've never heard of it. I had never heard of it.
I don't know that one either.
All right, here we go. Which of these movies was released in the 1980s? Back to the Future Part 3, Dead Poet Society, Pretty Woman, Total Recall. Lizzie?
Total Recall.
Let's see. I think you might be right. Nope. Dead Poet Society. Eh. All right. Rob B. All right. This is a fun one. How many Police Academy movies were there in the 1980s? 3, 4, 5, or 6?
10.
5.
5. Let's see. Whoops, I said 6 by accident, but you got it wrong. I clicked 6 by accident, but you got it. All right, my turn. Let's see. Which of these quotes is not a line of dialogue from the 1985? No, this is Commando, yeah. What do you say? I lied. I let him go. I had to spit. Don't disturb my friend. He's dead. Tired. I'm going to say, don't disturb my friend. He's dead tired because he always has these one-liners. And all right, these are tough. All right, clearly we don't know much about 80s movies. Let's go.
Goose eggs all around.
Stupid. Kelly just gave me stupid. Okay.
All right, Lizzie. Which of these films does not feature a song by Kenny Loggins? Caddyshack, Footloose, Beverly Hills Cop, or Top Gun? By Kenny Loggins.
To the danger zone. Okay. What were the? You cut down my. I can't see. What are the options again?
Caddyshack, Footloose, Beverly Hills Cop, or Top Gun? Let me see. I'm gonna bring you back up.
I'm gonna say Beverly Hills Cop.
I think you might be right, actually. Yes. All right, Lizzie.
Nice.
Good job. All right. Rob B. According to School Secretary Grace, why do sportos, the motorheads, geeks, sluts, bloods, wastoids, dweebies, and I don't think we can say that word, D-heads, all adore...
Dickheads.
Okay, well, yeah, it's probably okay to say. All adore Ferris Bueller. They think he's a cool dude. They think he's a righteous dude. They think he's a sweet dude. They think he might be single.
I think it's B. Righteous dude.
B. They think he's a righteous. That is correct. Ding, 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 ding. All right. See if I can get one. All right. In Flash Gordon 1980, how many hours did the
eponymous,
thank you, hero have to save the Earth, according to Dale Arden? 13 hours, 14 hours, 24 hours, or 48 hours?
I never watched Flash Gordon.
I watched it and I don't remember. I actually watched Flash Gordon. How many hours? I'm just going to take a guess. I'm going to say 14. Yes!
Nice.
I got it right.
He cheated.
All right.
Cheated,
so we got 1 point each. All right. Lizzie, let's see if we can break this tie. Let's see who wins this game. All right. Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey starred together in Dirty Dancing and one other 80s movie. Name it. Red Dawn, Steel Dawn, Youngblood, or Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
I've never heard of the other movies.
You've never heard of what?
You've never heard of Red Dawn?
Red Dawn, Ferris Bueller.
I've heard of Ferris Bueller. Are those other movies? Can you repeat them? Not Ferris Bueller, but what?
Red Dawn, Steel Dawn, Youngblood, Ferris Bueller's Days Off.
I mean, I guess Red Dawn.
Oh, Kevin Thaxton gave it to you. Look at that. Good job, Kevin. That is correct. All right. It's going to come down to this, Rob B. Jennifer Aniston made her film debut in which...
Let me stop you right there. The Leprechaun.
That's not even an option.
What? Damn. All right, read the options to me.
In which sci-fi movie? Explorers, Mac and Me, E.T., or Ghostbusters? I think I know this one.
Who you gonna call? Who
What
you
were the
gonna
first
call?
two?
First two are Explorers, Mac and Me, E.T., or Ghostbusters. Made her
Where's
film
Grandpa?
debut. Jennifer
Mac
Aniston.
and Me.
That is correct.
Nice.
All right, this is the last one for me. Who played Skeletor, the Masters of the Universe movie? Jack Nicholson, Val Kilmer, Frank Langella, or Christopher Lee? Wait, who played who? Skeletor?
Skeletor.
It wasn't Jack
Yeah,
Nicholson.
behind
I
that
can tell you
yellow mask. Oh yes.
It's either Christopher Lee or Val Kilmer. I know it's not Nicholson or Langella. I'm going with Christopher Lee.
Langella.
It was Langella? Oh, all right. So, this is the last question. Fastest person to say it. Who directed Howard the Duck movie? George Lucas, Ron Howard, Willard Huck,
Ron
or
Howard.
Francis Ford Coppola? Who?
Ron Howard.
What do you say, Lizzie? He said it first. If you're saying Ron Howard,
that's what I was gonna say, but yeah.
he said it first, and I think that's the right answer. Actually. Oh, both wrong. Willard Huck. All right, last one. Come on, we're gonna try to get this. Otherwise, we're gonna let Gianni pick. All right. Which of these 80s westerns features a split-second cameo from Tom Cruise? Young Guns, Pale Rider, Silverado, or Long Riders? First one to say it.
Young Guns.
What you got, Lizzie?
Number 2.
Pale Rider? Young Guns is correct. Yay! Good job, Rob B. Rob B with the win.
Down in the blaze of glory. Know the truth. I love Young Guns.
All right, let's get our shout outs in real quick. All right, Lizzie, shout outs.
Shout out to America, everyone who voted, everyone who stuck through this process. Again, this is for you. This isn't a TV movie. This isn't a concert or anything that is hyped up in Hollywood. This is reality. So shout out to you for voting, for paying attention, for being included in this process. And let's keep it going. It doesn't end here.
Yeah.
We got to keep our foot on the gas. So let's keep going. Whoop, whoop, to a better America. To a better America.
All right, Robbie, shout outs.
I like that. Shout out to my number one fan and supporter, Jose, who helps me behind the scenes day in and day out. So thank you very much, Joe, for all of your help and support. Shout out to our audience, our fans. Thank you so much for being part of the show. And like Liz said, shout out to everyone that went out and voted. This is your day. And, the voices will be heard. Ultimately, the voices will be heard.
All right. My shout out goes out to my sister, Rupka. She's going to be actually helping us with some stuff on the show. So she's going to be helping out. So thank you, Rupka. I'll be talking to you tomorrow. So, all right. That's good. So thank you very much, guys. It's actually a great show today. Enjoyed it with you. So before we close out, I'd like to thank you guys for joining us. We hope you maybe learned something or gained a new perspective. We even got some things off your chest. This has been a rough time up until now. Hopefully, we got some new things going on. Please don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe at TLS Live Show if you already haven't. And if you missed any of today's episode, check out our clips online on YouTube and Facebook tomorrow for you to share out. Remember, subscribe to iTunes, Spotify, Google, Alexa, wherever you listen to your podcast. Make sure you're listening to Truth Lies Shenanigans and subscribe.
I got my computer back, y'all. Tweet me.
Oh yeah, get those tweets out. All right, and make sure you check out our next show on the actual Sunday, not today, Sunday, at 4 p.m. We'll have a special guest host, as the witty Mark Gagne will be joining our crew to discuss all of our fun, hot topics.
Coming back.
All right, Rob B, you get the final thought for the day. Take us out.
The final thought for the day. So, yes, I'm just going to keep going with the winds of change appear to be blowing into the US of A. be cool to one another. It doesn't matter what the political divide is. It doesn't matter what the belief divide is. You're all Americans. You're one people. Let's just 4 years. Just start moving it in the right direction.
Yeah.
Rob, you've been listening to Scorpion? You've been listening to Scorpion Winds of Change?
I have not, but I like where your head's at.
All right, guys, we just got to still turn one more. We got to turn one more, though, but we'll see what we got. All right, thank you, Rob, Lizzie. Thank you, viewers. Have a great day.
Shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth.